All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Agent Experience, where we tell the stories behind the agents. I am Alan Lozano with the Property Hermanos Group, eXp Realty, and I am your host. And today, folks, we have a very special guest. It is my pleasure to have Tana Springer, realtor right here in the Rio Grande Valley. Awesome fact about Tana, she is born and raised in the Rio Grande Valley, so she knows this area like the back of her hand. She's working in the Rio Hondo area, and before she got into real estate, check this out, she was working with precious metals, and before that, she was a medic. So we're going to get a little deeper on that and see exactly how that transitioned into real estate. But here's another awesome announcement. Tana is also the 2025 Women's Council of Realtors Cameron County President. That is awesome. 10 years in the real estate industry. She has a real estate team, the Silver Lining team, and she is the team leader. Now, she also has a ton of education, ton of experience. She's an accredited buyer representative. She's a pricing strategy advisor and a seller representative specialist through the National Association of Realtors. And whenever she's not working in real estate, this is pretty cool too. She loves to ride motorcycles and loves to be outdoors. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Tana Springer with the Silver Lining Real Estate team. Tana, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Yeah, happy to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, hey, you have to tell us. So with your previous work experience, tell us what kind of precious metals and how did you get from a medic into real estate? What was that like?
Precious metals of any kind, you name it. I mean, it went from what you would think it is, gold and silver, to copper, to titanium, you name it. So it's very similar, I would say. I didn't see it at first, but we're dealing with a commodity, we're dealing with an asset, and we're dealing with pricing the market. So, and paying out these owners of this material the same way that we do for real estate.
That's awesome. And then you worked as a medic. What kind of medic work did you do? Were you working hospital? Were you working on an ambulance? Did you do all of the above? What kind of stuff did that entail?
Yeah, I was in an ambulance. I was in the box. So we did a lot of different things. I worked in Hidalgo County at that time for about 15 years, and it was a job. It was very physical. Hours were crazy, and after a while, I decided to try to do a transition and taking the paramedic to RN transition courses. And about halfway through, I said, I'm just doing the same thing. Instead of a box, I'll be in a hospital. Pay hours were still going to be similar. And I just decided to let that license expire and transition into being a business owner. And that's where precious metals led the way.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Tana, thank you so much for giving us a little background on that. We have some questions ready for you, but I just wanted to kind of touch on those. Those are pretty interesting previous careers. So thank you for sharing. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We have a couple questions prepared for you. So with you being in the business 10 years, what's one piece of advice you wish you had received when you first started in real estate? And how has that shaped your approach to your career?
I would say definitely get a coach. If it's the first thing you could do, hire yourself a coach. I know as a new agent, all of these dues and expenses are coming up, and you're probably not thinking about hiring an expensive coach. And they don't have to be expensive. There's a lot. You're going to have a mentor. If you don't, please find one. Find those mentors to lean up against. They're going to make sure you have all your, cross your T's, dot your I's. But the coach is going to take you further. And that one-on-one coaching is definitely eye-opening. I would suggest, if you can't, go on YouTube. There's plenty of material on YouTube that can lead you on the way. That's actually how I got my start. I jumped in the deep end, and I had to figure out a way to learn how to do it. Real estate school only teaches you so much, so we had to learn another way on how to actually run a business, and you are the business. So I would say you're always a student. So whether you hire that coach or find a way to learn, always learn something new. And with real estate, you will always learn something new every day.
Hey, well, that's awesome, and I'm sure that piece of advice, really comes in play with you and your team. You're able to help advise your team and coach your own team. And then what do they always say? The best coaches always have coaches too. So you're able
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
pass on that information to your team members.
Mhm.
So if anyone in the Rio Grande Valley is looking for a team, looking for a coach, hit up Tana. I'm sure she can point you in the right direction. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, cool. So going into the business, getting into the business, can you share a memorable success story where you helped a client achieve their dream? And how did that experience impact you personally and professionally?
Okay. So there are so many. I could probably write a book. I know I've told others I could write a book on all my experiences, hundreds and hundreds of transactions, thousands of interactions, and deals that fall through. I mean, there's so many stories. Some that come to mind, are some of the toughest ones. The ones where the loan officer, the client, myself, we're literally crying, trying to put the pieces together to make this work, to help them have this dream come true. Those, stand out because of the struggle and then the victory. Um, we there's a lot in real estate where you have to put others before yourself, and doing that, there's rewards that you can't even put into words sometimes. The way things happen and the way they fall into place. In real estate, we're problem solvers. The license doesn't tell you how to fix a problem that you just didn't see coming, and making things happen, and working as a team. You have so many people behind the scenes. As a client, you might only see 2 or 3 people in person, but there are over 40 people working on this file together to help you make it happen. But yeah, that's the growth in learning. Going back to learning, I tell all my agents, especially the new ones, to create a journal if they can of every transaction, so that they don't have to think like me and think back and look at addresses and names and try to put the pieces together on the stories. Because if they continue on, they're going to be in the same position I am 10 years later, thinking about everything that they've done, and helping others in the same way, and it's paying it forward in that same manner.
That's awesome. And you're 100% right. It's those hard moments, the tough moments, the ones that, push us as
Mhm.
professionals, and a lot of times emotionally the clients are pushed, and
Mhm.
it can get very stressful. But when we can keep going, keep the positivity flowing, and once we get to that finish line, man, it feels amazing, doesn't it? Right. I love that.
Every time.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, cool. So we're talking about helping people in real estate buy and sell property. We love to help buyers. We love to help them start building equity. But for you, what does it mean for you to be an owner of something? Whether you own your home, you own your brokerage like we do here at EXP, which is awesome. You own your car, you're in charge of your schedule. What does it mean to you to be an owner of something?
Well, I think it's beyond the dream, right? To be an owner of something. To me, I think about that. It's not, I own a home, I own a car, I own multiple cars, multiple motorcycles. They don't mean anything. I can give them up at any time and still be the same person and the same, go-getter that I am now. Um, it's not the material things. Those things come and go. It's that feeling of accomplishment. Sort of like these icon trophies behind me. They're a material item, a tangible item that I can hold. But the trophy, the piece of glass, doesn't mean as much as the accomplishment that I completed to get there. And not to mention, looking at my stock rewards and getting my cat back. That looking at the material item is the reflection of where I was and where I've come and where I'm going. So the ownership and the goals to those little things, whether it's your schedule, that's a big one. People don't think about that. Owning your schedule is probably the hardest thing to do. Um, and then it's the little things that build up. But those little things, little or big, each one helps you get to the next goal. So as you're thinking about your year, your plan, your quarterly goals, put that next idea in your mind, and it'll help you reach it faster. And you're always going to be propelling yourself to have ownership of those things, because it's going to be yours. You made it, you did it. So it's just even better. If it's a gift, that's one type of feeling, but when you do it yourself, it's on another level.
That's awesome. And I hope those of y'all watching take some notes. We're getting a live motivational coaching session right here. Like, I love those nuggets. One goal builds on the next goal, leads to the next goal. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And okay, so we know you're a 2-time EXP icon, which is phenomenal. I'm sure you're working on your third, or going to get your third here anytime coming up soon. So congratulations on all of your success with that. Awesome. So going back to your career in real estate, we talked about your previous careers in precious metals and in as a medic. What inspired you to get into real estate, and what is one of the main reasons you chose to partner with eXp in your real estate career?
Well, working in precious metals, that was an amazing, successful business. I loved it. It was one of my favorites because I got to build it on my own with a team, but I got to build it from the ground up and make it my own. And now, getting into real estate and with eXp, that was a different kind of growth. And someone said, I see what you're doing in this business. And they put the pieces together for me and said, like I said before, these are very similar businesses, and I think he would be good at real estate. And I didn't see it. I was not convinced. I was working in a field where I did not have to have a license. And so now I had to think, I have to go to school, I have to have a license, and we got all these laws. But 2 years later, like I said, I jumped in that deep end, and 10 years later, here I am. But almost 3 years, it'll be 3 years in January, I've been with eXp. And again, thinking about my growth, my goals, eXp just aligned with everything I was looking for. So that's what I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm sure there's more great years ahead, more success stories ahead. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure you're having a lot of fun. And now, you can be in charge of your schedule, run your team, and you have some of your family members that are also in the business with you, right? So this is what we're going to touch on next. So let's talk about it. Let's dig deep. With you getting into real estate, how has real estate and eXp changed your life and the lives of your loved ones? Tell us about your family's involvement.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a journey. Every day, almost 3 years, I pinch myself because I still can't believe how amazing this company is. And every day it gets better. Every time I think they've outdone themselves, this is as best as it's going to be, it gets better and better. And it's hard. I try to contain my excitement about this. I'm super passionate about these things because I see the potential, and then I see the potential in others that they don't see. And so I sometimes I get too excited about it, but it's really neat to see eXp's leadership take charge. That has been so interesting over the last couple of months. It's not just for them. They're thinking beyond the scope of our brokerage. They're trying to help the whole industry. And if we help the whole industry, we help everyone, we help ourselves. So the innovation, the first who, they're in the front lines. They're not afraid of this. They're hitting it head on. And I can't be more proud of that. I know for my daughter, who's a realtor on our team, my husband, who's been working real estate photography for us. And again, there's so many different ways. I don't think I can list them all in this video, but it has completely changed our lives in a way that there's a personal development that has come along that I've noticed. Didn't notice it right away. There was a lot of fun and shiny things in the beginning, but now it is a deeper level. Like you said, we're going deep on this, and that's what eXp has done. It has made me look at my business from the inside out, taken a different perspective on different business practices, and even more so knowing that I was in the medical field. I did precious metals to help people financially, now in real estate, trying to help people make it to those transitions as well. My life has been about helping people. And that's been, again, going beyond what I need, what my team needs, what each individual agent wants to accomplish. And I take their individual goals and try to help them accomplish that. And that part is just mind blowing. I just can't get over how much we can do when you can think outside the box and not hold yourself back.
That's awesome. And as well as anybody, sometimes we have to think outside the box to make those decisions, to help those clients, to help them see, beyond what's immediately in front of them and actually see that end goal. And I love that what you said about EXP leading from the front, and what they always do. What I love the most about the company is they always have the agent at the forefront. And that's why we always say, and we're proud to say, that EXP is the most agent-centric real estate brokerage on the planet. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm very proud of what the company is doing moving forward, how they've really risen to the occasion. So it's been a really cool thing, and just like you, I'm proud to be a part of it as well. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so we talking about deep stuff. We're talking about family. We're talking about business. We're talking about goals. Let's talk about something fun. On a lighter note, if you could have dinner with any person of influence, living or whether they're living or not here with us anymore, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one, because I really wish I had like a whole table of people.
That's true.
Yeah, can think of a lot, living and past. But top of mind comes my dad. My dad passed the month that I joined, within the week that I joined EXP. And so that was you can imagine the excitement on one hand and the heaviness on the other. Sometimes, it's only been 3 years coming up in January. I still feel like I can pick up the phone when I have a question. And that's who I'd like to sit down with. It was the answer to things, like most dads are, and we also grew up in the construction business with my dad. We were young. We were on the sites. We got to help our dad and what we could do at that time. And my job was mostly having a checkoff sheet and going through a house just like we do for our blue tape walkthroughs and looking for flaws. So when I got into real estate and I started doing that, and I called my dad and I said, "You've ruined me in real estate, because now I walk into these homes and I see all the flaws and I'm pointing them all out." But I'd like to sit down and tell him about everything that we've done, with this company, with our family, and wish he could see that right now.
Well, I know he is watching over, and he's seeing all of your accomplishments, and I'm sure he's smiling down on you at all times. So thank you so much for sharing that. Our families are everything to us, and as we can tell with you, you're a very family oriented person, and thank you so much for sharing that. Well, Tana, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a guest on the Agent Experience. Where can people find you online and follow you, send you messages if they have any questions? Where can we find you online?
Oh, you can find me in all the regular places, Instagram, Facebook, my phone number. I'm sure you'll list below.
I will.
Feel free to reach out anyway.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tana, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Agent Experience, where we tell the stories behind the agents. We'll see you guys on the next episode. And Tana, proud representative of the Rio Grande Valley. She's in Rio Hondo. I'm located in Los Fresnos. So it's always good to share the Rio Grande Valley agents' stories and all the fun that we're having. So thank you so much for taking time. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Take care.
Thank you, my friend.